Well, hello everyone, and happy Thursday afternoon, morning, or whenever you happen to be seeing this. And if you're watching the replay, do replay down at the bottom. And I have a very special guest with me today. As you know, I'm Nancy Matthews, one of the founders of Women's Prosperity Network. And I have Kathryn Yarborough with me today, and she just released a new book called Keep Moving Forward. Yeah, go ahead, pick it up. I love it. Keep Moving Forward. And this book contains so many delicious nuggets for the solopreneur who may be feeling confused, pulled in so many different directions, and just wondering, what's my purpose? What's my path? What's my next right step? This book gives you a roadmap to all of that. So welcome, Kathryn.
Thank you, Nancy. I am, of course, thrilled to be here with you.
I am delighted to be here with you. And I remember our first meeting, or at least what I remember is our first meeting. It was a hotel room in Orlando, Florida, at our speaker training, I think it was. And it is so delightful to see all you have done in keeping moving forward yourself, in bringing so much value to people, and really, carving that pathway. Share a little bit of what your journey has been like, because, to get you to writing a book, because it's scary and not always easy to get a book done. So let's talk about that a little bit.
I will happily talk about that. I have actually had a few books in the works over the last probably 10 years or so, and it took an interesting turn of events within myself for me to be willing to take the time, really sit and finish this book. And so, would you like me to share more about where I've come from when we first met?
Or I would love to, because I think it's part of the journey that you share in the book too.
Yeah. So I started, before we met, I started as an entrepreneur in 2001 as a dance movement therapist. I had a very clear vision, clear purpose, clear mission, and I grew a private practice to about 20 to 25 clients, and was, for a dance movement therapist, which most people don't know what that is, that's darn good. And then I got lost and confused and did not have a clear vision for my business. And we met, and that we probably met at the end of that journey, of that piece, maybe a 7-year period in my life where I was lost. I was still confused when we met. It was a speaker's thing, and I left there, and I think I even might mention this in the book. I left there going, well, all right, I'm an okay speaker. I'm clear that I've got some natural skill, but I got to work on that, and I've got to figure out what I'm going to speak about. So that was a big question, and I had decided that I wanted to focus on working with heart-based on purpose solopreneurs and entrepreneurs, and that was a big turning point for me too. So from there, it's been a step-by-step process of trying different offers, different approaches, different ways of looking at how I'm doing things. And then when I was feeling called to write this book, what was happening is my future on purpose self. This is what I talk about in the book, that we all have a future on purpose self, the future person who is really doing what we're here to do. And she was saying, Kathryn, if you write this book, you're going to get clear about what you're really here to teach.
And then you probably go, well, how can I write a book if I'm not clear?
Well, I actually didn't do that. I actually felt like I was like, okay, that's probably, I mean, I knew enough, because a lot of what's in the book is stuff that I had learned before, but the way of putting it together and I would say the spiritual spin on it is what really, for me, was the important part of writing this book, and why I went ahead and said, okay, I'm going to not just write it, I'm going to get it published, because it's not what's already out there. There's, I think, a specific piece, especially with regard to the future on purpose self, and that when we connect with her, we're moving in alignment with the divine, that I think is a unique message, and how to be with that.
It's a really unique message. And I love the way at the end of the chapters you give us exercises to support us in uncovering or rediscovering those parts of us that maybe we weren't listening to or don't know how to get to anymore. And I have a question for you. So you did dance movement therapy, came to speaker training, and I know you did other work as well. And when we talked, I remember you had a program, I think it was called Manifesting Clients on Demand or something close to that. Weren't you teaching people how to manifest clients?
Well, yes, my overall business currently is still Manifesting Clients Academy.
There you go.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I knew it was around that. And I want to talk with you about this spiritual component that you brought in. I, like you, believe that is where everything good comes from, is through that spirit and that essence. And I'm wondering, was it uncomfortable to come out of the closet, so to speak, on the spiritual side of things?
Well, that's a great question. I probably started talking about my spirituality maybe 10 years ago. I remember being with the On Purpose Woman global community, and being in a meeting and speaking from that place and feeling uncomfortable at the time. Mm-hmm. Since then, and that it might have been 10 or 12 years ago, since then, I have talked about my spirituality. I've been comfortable about the law of attraction forever. And I know some people see that as spiritual. I don't. I see it as like a fact of life. But the deeper spiritual work that I've done there's more energetic. It's about awakening at every level of our being. That and speaking from there. That I'm still awakening is speaking from there. And I'm comfortable talking about it. I often will say I'm spiritual but not religious, and so that comes out easily. What is challenging for me now still is acting in faith. Trusting that what my future on purpose self is showing me, and trusting, first of all, what I'm teaching, which is that she's moving in alignment with the unfoldment of the divine. And boy, don't I want to do that rather than resist it. And trusting that if I listen to her and follow what she's suggesting to me to do, that it will lead to income generating activities and abundance. And it's like, okay, because I want to go to this part of my brain and just figure it out.
We've been trained and conditioned to go to that part of our brain. I mean, I can remember, very strong messages in corporate, my mother even saying, don't think with your heart, think with your head. And like, that's a backwards message if I ever heard one, right? Think with your heart and then let your head do the work. But you got to start here. And that's really what this is about, right?
Beautiful way to put it, Nancy.
Yes. All right. So let's continue the journey. And I can also remember, and this kind of goes with trusting that piece of your future on purpose self. And I think we all get these callings or these yearnings, desires. And we're like, oh, what will people think? Will I be good enough? Will it work? Oh, maybe I just need to go keep doing this, put my head down. And, so I know in the book you have some strategies around that. Let me go ahead and give everybody the link. So, because you're going to want to get this book, go to Amazon, get the book. What are some of the other things that come up that will support people in following and trusting? Because it's an ongoing journey to have faith and trust it.
Right. So yes, so all kinds of resistance comes up, and it comes up in other people saying that you shouldn't be doing this or go here or go there. It comes up with fear. It comes up with not taking action. I mean, there's all kinds of resistances. Oh, I need to go get a job, but whatever it is, those kind of things come up. And so I think that the more we can hang out with other people, and I'm going to say women who get this. It is so supportive to hang out with other women.
And powerful, right? Yeah.
And so life affirming. Oh my goodness. I mean, me launching this book and people coming in like you and other people saying, hey, let me interview you. It's like, wow, that is so life affirming and wonderful. And it's because I've been hanging out with people and got, it's never, as Jenny Robertson, my colleague, will say, it's never too early to grow a network. And specifically hanging out with women who understand this path and that there is this future on purpose self, this way of this path that you could step into being this person. So, and of course, things like spiritual practice are super important, and gratitude, those sorts of things.
Awesome. All right. So you hit the #1. Congratulations. #1 new releases. And you also have this sidewalk thing you do.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Let's talk about that.
Oh, good. Thank you for asking. Yeah. So here's the thing to understand, because it ties in with the future on purpose self. That you who's doing what you're here to do, there's a path where you are right now and where she is. And that path, when you're actually on the path, I know you can't see my arm. I'm doing this thing and you can't see it. I'm in Toastmasters, y'all, because I'm still developing my speaking skills. And they say, step back so people can see your gestures. Anyhow.
And then you're on camera and you got to be closer to so many things to remember.
There's this path between where you are and where your future on purpose self is. And I call it your purpose path, but it feels like a moving sidewalk because your future on purpose self is in alignment with the divine. It is doing what you're here to do. So energy from the divine flows into you and through you when you're tuned into your future on purpose self. You can just be looking towards her. At least this is in my experience. If I just look towards her.
So say that again. That was really important.
Right. So if you just look towards your future on purpose self, that moving sidewalk is there.
Right.
And the energy shows up. It feels like you're moving forward. So I actually discovered this. I don't know when I started talking about it, but I committed to it last March. When COVID hit, it was the first time I wrote a news story that starts with, I'm on my moving sidewalk and this means. And that's I use this news story process that starts with a prompt and then you fill in with all the details. And so I committed to writing, reading, or saying that news story every day since the middle of last March. So that's almost a year and a half, something like that. And tuning in. And what I can tell you, Nancy, is I fall off. I am off my moving sidewalk. And it's like I'm standing there and I don't feel the energy. I can even get depressed and feel bad.
Thank you for your honesty, because we all go through that. I'm sure this happens for you as with me. People think, oh, everything's just perfect all the time. And I find things perfect all the time. But there's that moment before I'm feeling it's perfect, right? So, and that's part of the human experience. We're meant to have a range of emotions, and it's knowing how to respond to your emotions that makes all the difference to the quality of your life, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
So what are some of the tips that you can share? And get the book, because in the book she's got lots of great strategies and tools to support you. Hi, Mikey Adam Cohen. Glad that you're here. Lori Hunter's in the house. Yay. Good to see you. Let's talk about some tip or a strategy that you can share for those moments when you're standing still rather than on the moving sidewalk.
So as I said, I started writing, reading, and saying the news story, and I have found that to be amazing. And I want to do it like 3 times a day, and at night. This is really silly. I mean, I am on this committed spiritual journey. I am committed to being a leader in the realm of on-purpose solopreneurs. And I'm telling people to write, read, and say their news story 3 to 5 times a day. And at night, I'll be watching Netflix and I'll think, Kathryn, take a break, pull out your new story book and read about being on your moving sidewalk, because your energy will start to move. You'll feel better. And I'll be sitting there going, well, that sounds like that's a really good idea.
But let me just watch a little more Lucifer.
So my friends, so what's good is that in the morning I have plenty of energy to do it, and I always do it. So that keeps me going. So But when I do read my news stories at night, because it's harder for me because of my energy flow to write, but when I read them, the energy starts to flow. So that's one tool we can use. We can use breath work. We can use movement. We can, as I said before, gratitude. We can reconnect to what our goals are, what we really feel passionate about, all of those sorts of things. And sometimes, quite honestly, I think we need to take breaks and just say, okay, well, right now I'm off the sidewalk and I don't know how to get back on, and that's okay. And then, reach out if you get stuck there and you want to get moving, call Nancy. Do a session with Nancy.
Call Kathryn. Yeah, for sure. For sure. One of my favorite tools, and I'm not sure how familiar you are with it, is the prayer of Ho'oponopono.
Yeah.
That is my go-to. As soon as I recognize that I'm not on the moving sidewalk, which for me means I'm feeling, frustrated, angry, upset, just kind of blah, that yuck. So I might take a break and go for a walk, taking a shower in the middle of the day. I've been known to do because it's just breaking state is what we need to do. And then the prayer of Ho'oponopono brings me right back into connection with remembering that I can always access that. So, and we can talk about that another day on another show, since I didn't know we had that in common.
Yeah. It's a great practice.
It is. So everybody out there, go grab the book, support Kathryn, and support yourself. Support that future on purpose, in purpose self. The book is fantastic. I love the way you've put it together. And thank you for continuing to stay on the sidewalk and take us all along with you.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity to share, Nancy.
Yeah, my pleasure, my purpose, and also my privilege. Like, I get to hang out with some really awesome people. How about that? Come hang out with us. Have a beautiful day, Kathryn. Bye, everybody. Thank you for watching, and get the book.